The Department of Broadband, Communications and the Digital Economy has invited regional and rural Australians to log into a live internet television event on Wednesday night, June 12th, for an interactive conversation about the National Broadband Network, the NBN. A panel of experts will look at the opportunities on offer through the NBN, particularly for regional Australia, and answer questions from around the country. The panellists from various industries and interest groups will discuss and explore how the NBN will provide enormous change and benefits for regional Australia. People can watch the panel discussion live from the University of New England in Armidale, New South Wales, on their computer and ask the panel questions via a live chat window. To register for this event, visit www.nbn.gov.au. The recent American study by a job site looked at more than 200 jobs and applied 5 judging criteria to rank the top 20 worst jobs in the US. According to the survey, physical labour, declining job opportunities, a poor work environment and high stress were all pervasive attributes among these jobs that comprise the 2012 worst jobs list. And the results? The worst job was declared to be that of a lumberjack, followed closely by the poor old dairy farmer. There were some surprising findings. Funeral director scored as being a better job than an advertising account executive, and garbage collectors were very happy, in the spot of 160. Whether Aussie dairy farmers agree with this American assessment of their vocation remains to be seen. More than 1 in 3 Australian farmers fear agricultural conditions will worsen over the next year because of weaker commodity prices, rising costs and a strong Australian dollar. Rabobank's latest quarterly rural confidence survey showed farmer confidence was at its lowest in over 2 years by the end of May, with 34% of farmers expecting the industry to get worse in the next 12 months. Farmer pessimism grew by 6% over the past 3 months. Rabobank's Rural Australia General Manager, Peter Noblank, said many farmers' profits had been hit by an Australian dollar that hovered nearly parity with the US dollar. Parity is not very nice territory. It's painful territory for Australian farmers in general, Mr. Noblank said. Pathways to the Chinese wine market for Australian producers and distributors remain complex, despite positive signs of growth. A new Rabobank industry report cautions Australian wine suppliers to be mindful of gaps in the market that still need to be navigated. Rabobank senior analyst Mark Sociaio said that the growth of the Chinese wine market was occurring in a manner to which most foreign wine suppliers would not be accustomed. The influx of new wine importers into China had seen even the smallest foreign wine companies gain access, but many brand owners were struggling to gain access to the level of distribution they would ideally like. Rabobank estimated that the total number of wine importers had increased by 35% in 2011 to roughly 3,000 companies, many of which were marketing relatively small volumes of wine to select markets of business and political contacts in China. And following on from that last week's story about McCain's change of tactics regarding local potato producers, a study of potato farming has found that it costs up to double the amount to grow spuds in Australia than it does overseas. The 2010 research was commissioned by, you guessed it, McCain's, and compared the cost of growing companies at Ballarat in Victoria, southeast South Australia and northern Tasmania to parts of Canada, the United States, Europe and New Zealand. Agricultural consultant Dr. David McKenna led the project and said farms overseas are often bigger, which lowers production costs. Because of scale, they're running much bigger equipment, which is far more efficient, meaning less labour units, he said. Of course, the research made no mention of the fact that many imported potato products come from EU countries, which actually subsidise their inefficient producers.